My people, what up though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. I kind of lost track on what number we on, but my name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
It's always one. It's always one.
A lot of
Fellas,
mercy.
Yo, it's good to be back in the spot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's good to be back in the spot. Also, the trio, the band is back together. It feels good. We had a pretty productive day today. Let's do what we do. P.
What up?
Check in, man.
Wait. We got to address the new location.
True. I was
So-
going to get to that.
Okay, I don't want to steal your thunder. P, check in.
You know what? Don't check in, P. So we are in a new location, right? We've been bouncing around for a while, trying to find a good home. I think we found a spot. Shout out to Miss Adrienne Elliott. You dig? We are at the Gallery 66 down in the hometown of hard-hitting New Britain, Connecticut. Surrounding us is a variety of different paintings and art exhibits from like some pretty cool people, man. There's some pretty cool stuff on the wall behind us.
Real dope work.
And the exhibit celebrates diversity, inclusivity, and pride. And it's artwork that represents the empowerment of the people by respecting and appreciating what makes them different in terms of age, gender, ethnicity, religion, disability, sexual orientation, education, national origin, all that good stuff. So it's just a combination of acceptance and empowerment via the vessel of art. And there's some pretty cool stuff. Like behind us, these guitars are styrofoam, and it's like made of Gatorade tops and spray can tops. It's pretty cool. Like if you zoom in on the joints, you'll see. But with that being said, you know, and this whole exhibit was curated by Miss Adrienne Elliott, so it's kind of dope. P, check in, man.
Man, full of gratitude today for a multitude of reasons. Shout out to I don't remember the name, but the prison we went to this morning.
Manson Youth Institution in Cheshire, Connecticut.
Shout out to them. Some wonderful young human beings in there that we got to interact with. But I'm full of gratitude, man. I think that's the only way I can put it, because I'm still processing a couple of things that have me full of gratitude. I cried today. I cried heavy today because I was full of gratitude.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. It was all his fault.
It wasn't my fault.
It was all his fault.
We had a little moment
I literally
afterward.
had to walk out of his house earlier because I was crying so hard.
You probably needed it.
Yeah, it was a moment, man. So I'm full of gratitude.
I think for what it's worth, though, when you say cry, like it wasn't necessarily like you said, it was gratitude. It wasn't like the bitter tears. It was like I don't know.
It was gratitude.
Yo, you know what's crazy? You see how you felt the need to justify his crying? Like it's ever there's a proper or right way to cry.
Or reason.
Yeah,
to
or
cry.
like if he was crying for bitterness, then that's cool too. You know,
true, but
I feel like, and this is just me asking. I feel like you were trying to protect his masculinity.
No. I think I was trying to point out that these were almost like tears of joy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Versus like just somber. It was a good cry.
It was a good cry. And I'm one of those people. I've been called a crybaby my whole life. Like I was telling the youth earlier that I've always been in touch with my emotions, and so crying is a totally not an abnormal feeling for me or thing for me to do. So yeah, I'm full of gratitude, man. That's boom. How are you, Bill?
Grateful as well, like full of gratitude. But in a weird spot, I got real anxious today. I'm in a weird spot, and not like just today. Like this isn't a prolonged period. It was just today. I was just kind of like anxious a little bit, but grateful as well, man. And today was powerful. Like as I said when we were speaking. So for those of you may have seen the clips by the time this drops, but we spoke. So our childhood friend, Chief and I's childhood friend, is actually a warden at one of the Connecticut correctional institutions, and he's a black man, which is dope from a representation standpoint. You know, because I'll say, and Chief too, I can speak for. We didn't grow up knowing black wardens. We grew up knowing black COs.
That shit was mind blowing for me.
You know what I'm
today.
saying? Like black COs for sure, but like no one around the way says I want to be a warden.
Right.
Everybody says they want to be a CO. You know what I'm saying? Because they're 20 years and out. You work for 20 years, you retire. with a pension, which, I mean, how many companies still have pensions? You know what I mean? So it's security in that. But anyway, I felt it was a full circle moment for me because I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I was a problem child growing up. We're getting arrested in gangs, all kinds of stuff like that. And we were talking to Warden Pierce, and we learned like the process. Like if a youth offender gets arrested, they'll go to Hartford Detention, which is like the youth county jail. And I'm like, wow, I spent multiple nights in Hartford Detention. You know what I'm saying? And I made a decision when I got out of there to turn my life around. And the message that it made me emotional today because I'm like, that could have been me. That could have been me with one different decision. But the opposite is also true. They could be me.
Yep.
So that's why it was powerful for me because it was an example of what making a decision can do for you, you know? So that was it. So that like I felt all of that, then work, I got like some anxiety around work, but all in all, I cannot complain. Like I can't complain. Like I think there's some things I gotta work through directionally, but outside of that, man, I'm blessed, man. Blessed.
So to kind of the last point you made, there was a dude in there, a dude we saw in the hall, in the parking lot who stopped us, and he had did 20 years in and out. And he was like, yo, I got a full and complete pardon, which allowed me to come back in here and do this job. So essentially he was the alternative. So it was kind of dope to hear his story briefly in the parking lot, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we should probably find out who is and wonder why he's not telling them that story. Or maybe he has, we don't know. But
he said he hasn't.
That he hasn't?
Really?
Yeah.
He said they don't know this, but my number was boom, 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 boom. And I was
he spit out his correctional number or whatever.
Yo, what's so ill is, shout out to my cousin, Drew. He did 6 years, got a full pardon. He just graduated from CO Academy.
Oh, congratulations to him, man.
You know what I'm saying? So like, that, and it was so crazy, bro. I wrote his pardon letter.
Word?
Yeah, I wrote his pardon letter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wrote his part. So when he told me he got the job, like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. When he told me he got the job, like, I started crying. I'm crying right now.
Which you never do.
Nah. Right. But that lets you know, like,
you in the space.
Yeah. I got some shit going on.
Today was on your heels.
It's all good,
anyway.
Getting to the topic, man. Go ahead and ride that wave, cuz.
Yeah, I like this.
Ride that wave, man. You ain't got to change the subject.
Y'all have to, I know everybody listening, man, y'all have to hear and acknowledge Bell's growth, man. I'm happy right now because I've seen him do things that I haven't seen him do in emotional space right now in this moment. And that makes me happy, bro. That makes me happy to see it. I feel like earlier when we was talking, you was getting there a little too. You wiped your eyes twice.
I did, and I think about, I can't remember what it was, but I remember like hearing your voice crack a little bit. And like, and I kind of leaned in a little bit.
Crack?
Yeah, it was, I can't remember what you was talking about. I'll think about it later, but you
we
good?
good.
Any more on that though?
No, seriously.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
That's what's up. It's baby step, but it's definitely like, this is a testament to what this podcast has done for us, yo.
Man.
It allows us to fall into a vulnerable space. I'm going to tell you, last time I seen this man's eyes with a little bit of bloodshot was 2018. I think the first and last time was 2018. Yeah, whatever my brother's thing, but like it was 2009, 2018, and then right now. You know what I'm saying? So,
wow.
So that's a testament to what we're doing, fellas. We doing something right, man, and it feels good. But
yeah, and it's doing something to our spirit too, man.
Yeah,
it is.
So
we're impacting people, which is cool.
And so in my check-in, the first thing I want to do though, Bell, you started off that way, but I feel like I need to piggyback on it because. And that's what I was texting. I was texting Warden Pierce. Shout out to Warden Pierce, man. Who's a big supporter of the podcast.
Salute, man. Word. We appreciate you, brother.
Like, and I'm saying this. I'm looking to the camera. I'm saying to the fam. Like, seeing my highlight of today was seeing you in that element, bro. Like the amount of pride that ran through me. Like, we was in the projects running around. You know what I'm saying? And just to see this cat with his shirt and tie on running the show, like he walks through and people respect the warden, and it was just a cool feeling. Like it
I think the coolest part for you was when we got the key to the locker, and he was like, "Nah, you good."
Give me the phone. Yeah. Like the warden came.
Like VIP
we with the boss. Cool out, B. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was super cool just to like see, like it was like I was proud of homie. You know what I'm saying?
100%. And I started responding, but I didn't want to rush. Like I said, that's where like my conversation with him via my response is going to be like, and it speaks to your circle, because we're at the age now, right, that our peers are in positions of power,
Right.
Yeah.
right, positions of influence, and it's so dope when we can leverage each other. Because that's all he did.
Yep.
He tapped us on the shoulder to leverage a relationship to help these kids.
I want to implore him though, because you're in there every day, bro, and you got a story too.
Oh, he got to come on the
But
show.
you like that shirt and tie might have them.
You see how he kept like diverting from himself?
Yeah. I mean, but you did the same thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the middle, you did that in the middle of telling your story.
I didn't even reflex response. I didn't even pick up on
Like
it.
you're telling your story, like, but no, we ain't gonna talk about that. Like, but you kept like, you know what I'm saying? But it's still a powerful story. But so Warden Pierce, I encourage you to kind of even get you a small group, man, and just kind of share your story.
Warden Pierce, we are your group.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
We are your group. You
And
let
we
us
are
know.
going to have you on the podcast, bro, because like I just think it's just a powerful conversation we could have.
Especially in painting black men in the most positive light, you know, and breaking stereotypes, you know. And he shared a story with us about the perception of him coming out of academy, right, and how he completely changed the narrative. Like that's a story that needs to be told. So it's awesome. It's awesome.
No, it's super,
And
super
I know you're doing your check-in. I don't mean to interrupt, but just to piggyback on my comments, I've never seen a black warden in person. The only black warden I've ever seen was on Oz, the HBO show Oz.
Was he
Ernie Hudson?
Was he the warden or the assistant?
He was the warden.
Okay.
Ernie Hudson, I think that's the actor's name, the black dude from Ghostbusters. He's the same dude who plays the warden on Oz, the HBO show that came out back in like the 90s.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's the only black warden I've ever seen.
Adebisi.
Yeah. That's the only black warden I've ever seen in my life.
You
so
look
when we
just
got
like
in there,
Adebisi.
all you need is the beanie.
That's it, man.
So for me to meet a black warden was like, whoa. And then for him to be cool as shit and relatable, I was like,
that was the piece. The most like how relatable he was.
Yeah, he's
he was his authentic self.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
Mikey's a good dude. He's a good dude.
I kick it with bro, and I'm like, you're a warden? Yeah. Like, when I can relate to this is wild. So that's why I was really quiet. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I didn't have a lot to say when we first got there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because I was so like
in awe.
In a way, yeah. I'm like, you're too relatable to what? You know what I mean? Like, and so that made me think, like, why am I thinking he shouldn't, it's so foreign for him to be in this position, in this space, because it's something that I wasn't used to. And I'm like, this dude is a warden?
Mikey from around the way, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was just cool to kind of like.
So that was
it was
really
super
dope
to see you in your element, bro. So huge salute to you, man.
Seriously.
For sure.
So how are you, bro?
In my check, I'm good, man. I went through a gamut of emotions today, just being there, talking to the kids, and then talking about my temper, and I got fueled in the process of trying to set all this up, but I had to woosah, and I didn't want my man to hug me, but it really did help me.
It helped me too. It helped me too, man.
So
it helped me too.
I was pissed. I was a little mad about something. Bell just playing around, like, yo, come here.
I know, I was serious, because I needed that hug just as much as you, man.
I was patronizing y'all when I was like, give him a hug, and y'all did it,
but it
man.
definitely was like it got the exhale moment, kind of like get that weight off my chest real quick and just kind of keep the party going. So I'm good now, but
we're normalizing normal behavior.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for the opportunity we had today, man, and we're going to create some stuff to get us back in that position to be able to, inspire and try to empower these kids to make some better choices, man. So that's kind of dope.
For sure.
So we can jump right into.
Yeah. So back by popular demand is I think it was episode 66. So it was approximately 21 episodes ago. We did.
You know what episode we on right now?
We're on 87. Well. Depending on how we drop the ones that we got.
Right. This could be episode 94.
Yeah, this could be 90.
When the release
91.
We're at 87 now. While we're recording.
The next episode that will drop will be 87. And anyway, We did an episode over a year ago. It was titled Boundaries, Triggers.
Boundaries, and interracial dating.
Yeah, boundaries, triggers, interracial dating. Yep. And man, did we not talk about interracial dating.
We cheated y'all like a motherfucker.
We did. It was...
I feel like we ain't want to touch it. Like we just...
we played that shit so safe.
We put on our ice skates for that episode and skated the surface.
Yeah, man. We was like I said earlier, we said enough to put it in the title.
Right.
We said enough to put it in the title, but we ain't really get into it. But back by popular demand because we've gotten multiple requests. You know, shout out to my cousin Tiffany Seals. She hit me up at 7 o'clock. I was down in Florida this past weekend, and we were on Central Time. So she hit me up like 7 o'clock in the morning, texted me about interracial dating because her husband's white. Mm-hmm. So she was like, have you ever talked about this? And I'm like, yeah, episode 66. I sent it to her. So she listened to it and called me. I'm like, I'm not answering this. I'm in the bed. Like, it's 6:45 in the morning right now. So
you haven't talked to her yet about it?
Nah. Well, she had sent me a long text exchange.
Okay.
Saying we need to revisit it. Then I go back to look at some of the YouTube comments because I watched it on YouTube to listen to it again. And I saw there was a comment 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody saying, y'all
you
need
gotta put the notifications on.
Definitely got to put the notifications on. What someone's saying that you need to revisit this. You didn't basically go, like what we saying, we didn't go deep enough.
But the thing is, I think, did we know that I think we knew that in the moment.
Oh, no, we said it. We said it multiple times. We said it
we definitely.
multiple times. So
wait, why didn't we? Why do you think we played it safe in that particular episode? Why didn't we get into interracial dating?
Okay, I can say for me, what part of it probably was to be as dedicated and committed to my people that I am, to be so pro-black, right? And to have interracial children, I don't like when my loyalty or commitment to my culture or people is even implied, like there's a question about it, right? And I think there's a natural defense mechanism that I have by having children who are of different ethnicities.
I think
to kind of protect that. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think many people have that same feeling, and it's I can't think of the right word, but like, why do you think it is that people are so they keep that so close guard? They do it. But it's almost like they don't want nobody to know they did it, or they don't want you to think because my kids are interracial that I'm not for my people.
Right. I know for me, it was I received one comment in my lifetime, at least that I've seen, where somebody addressed me having children who weren't all black in a way that they questioned my
blackness.
They questioned my blackness, and I remember how it made me feel, and I remember how I responded.
Do y'all find that some people who are like super pro-black are also in the same vein anti-white? Because you can still be pro-black and not be anti-white.
I don't want to paint with a broad brush. I don't think it's a one size fits all. I think everything's possible. I don't know. I don't want to say if you're pro-black you're anti-white because I don't agree with that.
I'm not going to put it on you people, but I am going to say in your pro-black, it feels more anti-white.
I can see that.
Hold on though. Let me ask this question. I wrote this down so I don't forget. So in your effort to, I'm going to use this word just for argument's sake, preserve your blackness by not addressing interracial dating, does it minimize your kid's other race?
I don't believe it does because I am an avid believer of taking pride in your culture, whatever the hell it is, whatever you are, you should be proud of who you are.
Pause. With that definition, can you be proud of what your kids are on the other side?
Absolutely.
But you're not that though.
What do you mean I'm not that?
So,
perfect example, this tattoo right here is for Tahir. This is a symbol for his middle name, which is Ikaika, which means strength and a warrior. This comes from his Hawaiian heritage that's on his mother's side.
Right.
I have it tatted all on my arm. A lot of Polynesians and
they know what it is.
They know what it is and recognize it. They be like, yo, bro, are you? And then we get into the story and then there's some type of connection there. But to me, I could have easily did something with Afrocentric detail on it, but I take pride in who he is, even if it's not my culture, right?
Okay.
So
that's
for
perfect.
me, this tattoo right here, it's a symbolism of a culture that isn't mine and isn't in my blood, but is in my son's blood. And I respect and acknowledge the strength and the passion of that culture and Pacific Islanders. And I chose to put it on my arm in representation of my son and his strength.
Dude, that you realize that those two answers can appear like on the face to be contradictory?
Elaborate.
So you just said, I don't ever want again, I'm paraphrasing, my blackness to be in question, basically. But at the same time, you are celebrating, as you should, your son's heritage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you doing things like that, I don't know how it could, like, I guess what I'm saying is, on one hand, I'm thinking that I hear you saying, like, I don't want it to be in question. But I think on the other hand, it's like, my fear or my concern was, well, is your son's heritage in question? But it's clearly not. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm making sense, but both things are true. So you've exhibited examples in both worlds. So why are you worried about?
I'm not worried. I think maybe, okay, so it's not that I'm not worried about my blackness being in question. I'm very comfortable with what I represent and how much I represent it. It was the one experience that I experienced when they were really young with somebody taking into question my loyalty to my people. This happened to be because I had mentioned that Tahir's mom is, she's Filipino. Her father is black and white. Her mother is Filipino and Hawaiian. It was the white reference that I made that had somebody respond. So my son is 4 different ethnicities, right? But it was the fact that this person pulled the white out of it. The person pulled the white out of it.
All the shit I said, you want to just talk about white?
Yeah, and so they pulled the white out of it. And you know me, that's what really had me upset. Like, we're not going to do that because he has, his mom is a quarter white. We're not going to make it seem like all of a sudden I'm not dedicated to my culture, my people. So I took real offense to that. So ever since that moment, I've always just been extra, my son's mixed. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, on edge a little bit. I took offense.
Man.
I wrote this down, but I don't really know how to ask the question in terms of, as it relates to this, it's not interracial dating right now, but with the light skin jokes. Do you think that, because as I'm looking at you, and I believe both of your parents are darker than you guys.
Yeah, mine are.
And what's crazy is my father's lighter than both of y'all.
Really?
Yeah.
You seen him before? Had to do it. It was a perfect setup, bud. You gave me the oop. I had to do it. I had to do it.
Don't let this cat influence you, B.
Yo, it's too late. We've been doing it for hella long.
I'm so glad it wasn't me, man. I'm like,
you set me up.
I was just chilling.
Okay, keep going, bud. Keep going.
So in terms of like representing that blackness, like, do you think, because obviously mama black, daddy black, but like you're a lighter shade.
Right.
Is it worse if because you're light skinned and you're dating outside of your race that like
I don't
people
think about that.
you?
For me, that's not a thought at all ever. For me, the whole light skin thing, I hate it. So I don't pay any attention.
But you
to
wouldn't
that.
necessarily be light skinned compared. I wouldn't consider them like y'all niggas light skinned like
These
that.
niggas call me light skin all the time.
Yeah, I definitely got called light skin. But even though right now I took a picture the other day down in Florida, I'm brown.
I always say I'm oak skinned. I'm like an oak tree, nigga. I'm oak skinned.
Whatever. So back to the interracial dating.
Yo, I think that episode 66, you said this word, bro. That shit was hilarious. You made it up. It was, oh man, I wish I could remember.
It's a word now.
Oh my God. Well, that's exactly what you said
Whatever
afterwards.
it is, the word now.
Question: how do you, Chief, feel about having 2 children with the white women? Do you get shit for that? Do you get
So I haven't gotten shit for having two children by a white woman, but what I did get was the question of whether my son was my son because he's so light. Are you his coach? You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy because my boys are from the same woman, but they look completely different. They're two completely different shades.
Two different shades, but they don't look completely different.
Look alike, bro.
But they're two completely different shades. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Completely?
Yes. If I showed you a
I
picture
must
from
look at the
now.
old pictures.
Like Mia and Major are two completely
Me and
different
Storm are the
shades.
exact same color.
I haven't seen Storm in a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't remember them being
Me
that
and Storm are the
dark.
exact same color.
Okay. All right. Then they are two completely different shades.
But so I've gotten questioned about that. But again, I don't.
Mind your business.
That too. But
Like-
nobody. No, it wasn't even that. But shorty, I go to the Osgood, and I'm walking and holding my boy. Oh, are you his coach? And I'm just like,
Holding his hand like this?
yeah. I'm holding my boy's hand like. I just kind of looked
Or
at
why
him.
is that your first question? You know what I'm saying? Like that, I don't know.
So why do you think you skated in the last episode when we were talking about this?
I think I probably spoke more on it than we did, and I spoke just about how I've had to have several conversations with her, and just about like kind of reminding her that like regardless of how she sees them, the world views them as little black boys.
No, that's a whole different conflict. I can't even. Well, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
And it's not. And again, she has an older daughter from a black man. But it was just like I don't think she looked at it as it pertains to these boys. Like the world is going to view them as little black boys, regardless of how you see them and how well they speak and what schools they go to.
I had that moment.
You dig what I'm saying? So, and it was kind of shocking to me because I'm like, I can't remember the conversation, but I remember being like, wow, she really doesn't get it.
Bro, when Philando Castile died, it's on the internet. I wrote a poem to Justice that very day, and I was trying to tell him in a roundabout way how to protect himself. It was just a heartfelt poem, to my child, and I recorded me reading it to him in the car. While I was reading it to him, this was when Philando Castile died, which was years ago. He was way younger. He started crying, and then I started crying while I was reading.
I remember that,
and it was a really powerful moment. And his mother called me when she seen it on the internet. His mother's Puerto Rican. Why are you using my son as clickbait and views? And I have never gone off on her harder than I did that conversation because I was like, first of all,
Like acknowledge the moment.
First of all, all your kids are by black men. You have 4 children by black men, and you have the nerve the day after this man is shot and murdered to be asking me, why am I using him for clickbait and views when you see us both crying? And it clicked right there. I felt so alone, bro. And I felt way more terrified after that conversation because I was like, she doesn't get it. Yeah. And as much as she assimilates to black culture, as black as she sounds, you get what I'm saying? As much as she's around black culture, she's not black. She's Puerto Rican, which is close as fuck. But she is not black, and damn, she's my son's mother, and damn, she don't get it. Right. And that shit scared the fuck out of me after that conversation.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm married to a Puerto Rican woman, and I said this in the last episode. She's very fair skinned. Like, to somebody who didn't grow up around Puerto Ricans, they may think she was white. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who doesn't have like
grew up in a different region, like me or something.
Like different, like a cultural understanding. They would think she was white. So one day, I just moved to this town in Connecticut. The name of the town is called Manchester. When Chief and I were growing up, they used to call it Clanchester. You know what I'm saying? That's what they used to call it. And I had, prior to living there, I had no real experience there. You know what I'm saying? So nothing to weigh it against outside of what people told me. So I just bought my Range Rover, and we're leaving a comedy show. For some reason, I said I'm not gonna drink tonight. I don't know why, I just didn't. Bro, when I tell you, immediately when I pulled out of the parking lot, I got pulled over. Like, and he said I was speeding. I'm like, I couldn't have picked up speed this fast.
I couldn't have got enough momentum to speed.
Yeah, like
the guy with a fishtail
yeah,
out of
it's
the
like
parking
I
lot.
just couldn't have done it. So anyway, we know the routine.
Right.
You get pulled over, you comply, and you just get out of that situation. My wife's an attorney. So he's questioning me. He sees my gun permit, and the whole conversation shifted. Initially, up until that, he was like, first question, how much have you had to drink tonight?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I had 2 glasses of water. He's like, how much alcohol did you consume?
I just told you I had 2 glasses
I
of
had
water.
2 glasses. The question was, how much did you drink tonight? I drank 2 glasses of water, right? I didn't say that. I said, all I had was water, officer. Then the first question was, is there any
Weapons or drugs in the car?
any weapons or drugs in the car? No, officer. Is there any weapons or drugs on your person? Like, and he just kept going. He saw my ID. Where are you from? Where? All this shit. So all this line of questioning, it's not fazing me at all because this is routine. Not fazing me at all. She snaps and was like, and when I say snap, she didn't prentice snap. She just snapped. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Prentice snap is different shit.
yeah,
for the
she
record.
didn't prentice snap, but she's in the passenger seat, and she like basically leaned over and was like, why are you asking? Why you keep asking the same question? Like, you know what I'm saying? And before she can get her sentence out, I just
had to hit her with the
like that's it.
Hit her with the Heisman.
Like I just pushed her back in her seat, and I'm like, this ain't the time.
Ooh.
So fast forward, that was her first understanding, because like your child's mom, like she's black assimilated, right? Grew up around black people, all of that. All her cousins have babies by black guys, right? Or married to black guys, whatever. So she grew up in the culture, but she's of the culture, but she's not in the culture.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that, and she's a woman, and she can pass for something else, especially at night. So when she saw that, it was a clear understanding of what we go through. And basically she was like, yo, you deal with that all the time? I'm like, yeah, every time.
Every time.
And it's cool. Like, and I'm not saying it's cool like it's okay.
Right.
It's cool because I understand the expectation.
Right.
Right, you comply. As much as you can. And you get home.
Yep.
So sure enough, you know, she wrote a letter, you know what I'm saying? And they ended up, the way they wrote her back, and the way the letter read was like, this wasn't the first time they heard something about this dude.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't say that, but that it was kind of implied.
Right.
So they never did anything. But anyway, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. I do want to say, what was the catalyst for this conversation the first time was an interview by Amari Hardwick on The Pivot,
Yep.
which we'll play.
You don't marry outside of your race to make your community better. That's not what you're doing. You are open to what God is saying that will make you individually better. We as a culture, Ryan, you astutely, brilliantly said it, we're so fucking Velcro to each other that we then think, you think you're bringing that thing over here to make us all better. No.
It's about me.
It's about me. And if I get better, then we all gonna get better. So I had to just come to that understanding. And then in coming to that, I realized part of what made Jay so incredible was that she was so fucking strong in ways that a lot of black women weren't aware that white women could be. So in her proving that she don't fucking go nowhere, you can throw 1,000,000 stones at her Mary Magdalene. She don't move. It made, because as black people, this is the greatest quality we possess. Our greatest of swag is that we have to be connected to God differently because we're trampled every other day. And the next greatest of our swag is that in that, all we really care about at the end of the day is you, whomever it is that doesn't look like us, withstanding the fire that we've withstood. If you can
You got to see
stand,
in that heat.
and if we see you do that, we go, all right, cool, you made it in.
He was so concerned about what it does to the black community by dating outside your race in the beginning that he lost sight of what it would do for him. So he said, I'm first God's child. First. If this is the woman, race aside, that is the best person for me, it makes me better, who am I to defy that? Essentially is what he said. So that to me, I was like, holy shit, I never thought about it like that. Like sometimes as a people, we put our black card, we hold that in such high regard that sometimes, not in all cases, sometimes we can lose a piece of ourselves in the process. or not become the best version of ourselves
because of that.
Because of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was so powerful. And I've only had three girlfriends in my life, and one of them was white. You know, but like I said in the last episode, I said these childhood traumas and learned behaviors is real. Because I'm in college, right? Mind you, college, I'm probably 19 years old. And things that were said to me by my mom back then impacted me in that current relationship as it pertained to dating white women specifically.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like dating white women specifically. So every time I hear interracial dating, I don't, in my mind, like I'm not dating outside my race, being with Lorraine. But I am. But in my mind, interracial is white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of the questions I wonder. Well, like, why do you think that is so stigmatized within our culture?
Because of white people's history.
So is this the general answer? Plain and simple?
White people's history. I mean, you know, white people's history. I think that's why it's such a stigmatized. It feels to us like you're playing on the other team.
And it's not even white people's history. It's the history and it's the experience of our elders with white people.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
when I say white people.
like I agree. The history of white people in totality as well, based on, like, again, I don't want to paint with a broad brush, but
Right.
there's things that happened in our history that caused our elders to raise us a certain way due to some of these experiences. Yeah. So there's obviously going to be bias, or I shouldn't say obviously, but there's a strong possibility for bias, especially growing up in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
You got to think our parents are what, 3 generations removed from slavery? Think about it like that, right? So not your grandfather, he wasn't a slave. Your great grandfather probably wasn't a slave, but was on the outskirts of it. But his father, 100% a slave.
Right. And even if you think about our parents, my mom was born in 1951.
Yeah.
Just that alone, being born in 51.
I mean, all our parents were born in the 50s.
Right.
Mine was
and my mom was a Black Panther in Oakland. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Mom's was
My uncle was
a
a Black Panther.
So she was very adamant. And the first time, I remember the first lesson I got about white people. We were at a mall, and I don't know what happened. We was at a McDonald's at Southland Mall in Hayward, and I guess the woman gave her an attitude about getting her apple pies or something, and she grabbed my hand. She said, "We out of here, honky," and walked off. And I was like, "What's honky? You know, like, what is a honky? Why did you say honky? What is that? You know, these white people, blah blah blah." So then I was like, "Oh, okay, so they ain't cool then." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They not cool. So growing up, when I see white girls and white women, I'm like, oh, nah, I ain't, you know, next. You know, because I was brought up with the impression that they not cool people. And then I'm taught history at a very young age. You know, when you a Panther, grow up in the house of a Black Panther, you're going to learn some truth.
Real.
So I learned the history of it via just in school and history and listening to the Black folk talk. But in my family, my uncle, I know, was married to a white woman. They've been together forever. You know what I'm saying? But growing up, where we live, it's like a melting pot. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? So it's it wasn't like it was abnormal around here to be caught in an interracial couple. You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't really, it wasn't like, you know, what's the old saying, she can't use your comb, don't bring her home?
Hey, listen,
I've heard that, but it wasn't like specifically told to me.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? So I can't say that there was like a taboo thing within my family or directed at me saying don't date outside your race. And as I got older, I started to like just see how people perceived that and how people were spoken to about it or talked about because of it. But it was never really directed within my family until, you know, I got to experience for myself with my son's mother. And again, cool chick, down for the cause or whatever, but it's just certain things that are like, some white people, even, you know, the greatest of allies, are still oblivious to what it's really like.
Yeah, but we're also, there's only so much we can do to account for what we deal with. Meaning, like, helping people understand. Because my wife didn't truly understand until she experienced it.
Right.
The challenge is a lot of our allies, some of our allies will never be in a position to truly experience it. Right. Even if it's secondhand, they won't be in a position to truly experience
it. That goes to your point about the riots, the quote about the riots, where like, you know, it's what was it? It's like, it's terrible what happened to so and so, but
oh yeah. When I said my former boss who was in Minnesota during George Floyd, he said it's terrible what happened to George Floyd, but these riots have to stop. Mm-hmm. Compared to saying these riots are terrible, but what happened to George Floyd has to stop.
Right. And I think that is ultimately their perspective. Like they can empathize, but I'm sure he meant well.
He did.
When you
but uneducated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In large, another prominent leader in this company, in my company, let me in the other day and said, during George Floyd, he learned a lot. He asked one of his black leaders, and he came from a place of humility, and he's like, I know this is a stupid question. He's like, but I'm just trying to understand. That's why I'm asking the question. He's like, why are you guys so upset over someone being killed that you don't even know? But the dude's answer was, you don't get it, and he educated him. And that conversation forever changed that person's life. Mm-hmm. And he's one of the biggest advocates for diversity and inclusion in my company. You know what I mean? But he had the courage to have that conversation.
Right.
And when
you gotta respect that.
Yeah, and if you don't have that, and you don't have someone in close proximity, dude, I'm not gonna hold you. Like if I was a part of a marginalized, if I wasn't, a part of a marginalized group, I don't know that I'm trying to live that experience. I'm being honest.
Definitely not.
So this is what I'm saying. Like you just said that so adamantly. But that's true for,
right.
You know what I'm saying? The people who aren't marginalized. Mm-hmm. It's like they can care. It's you know, it's what's the saying? It's not enough to not be racist. It's to be anti-racist. Mm-hmm. You know, so I don't know how we got here, but how did we get here? What are we talking about? George Floyd now? We started with interracial dating.
I'll tell you one thing that's interesting. It's in the same vein. What I'm going through now in scope of interracial dating. What is that? Oh. My man. Yo.
Go ahead.
Yo.
Go ahead.
No, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
What I'm going through with in regards to the subject of interracial dating now has passed to my son, to Justice. Because Justice now is growing up in a very nice neighborhood where there are very little black people. There are a lot of Spanish girls. There are a lot of Asian girls. He had his orientation for high school a couple days ago, right? So he goes in. He's one of the only new black kids in the class at a school of 4,000 students. And he comes out, ooh, man,
swag on 100.
The girls in there, man. He said, I'm gonna have a couple Asian girlfriends this year. You know what I mean? Like he said that at home, and then Sarah was like, no black girls? He's like, there ain't no, a lot of black girls that are there, and the ones that are there ain't cute to me, like. And so now I'm watching him learn about dating and the girls he's into, and with the exception of one who was my favorite, none of them are black. You know what I mean?
Does it matter to you?
Okay, so here's the thing now. At first, when I saw him started getting the girls, I was just watching because I want to guide him. You know what I mean? I was happy as hell when he had that black girlfriend. And I was happy as hell because what I saw it do to him was he got on his grades. That boy started trying sushi. That man was... You
So
remember Valentine's Day?
You
remember Valentine's Day? He built that basket with the balloons and all that stuff. He was doing things he had never done. And what I did in that moment, I was like, hey, bro, a black woman would change your life. I'm telling you, look at you right now. So I'm encouraging him, instilling in him, but I understand, like, yo, he has a Puerto Rican mother.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why he likes Spanish women. You get what I'm saying? Like
100%.
that makes sense, and that's nothing I can be against. And he's going to like who he likes, and he's not fully black. So how ironic would it be for me to sit here judging him on who he dates when he's just not learning? You get what I'm saying? So it's.
Can he bring a white girl home?
Can he bring a white girl home?
Yeah.
You
He says
repeated the
that
question.
I love her. I'm ready to. Can he bring a white girl home?
He gonna date who he's gonna
hit
date.
with the, huh? That's what you just did.
No, yeah, I said but my honest answer is you love who you love. You date who you date. I would be a hypocrite. You get what I'm saying? Like just because the
Why
women.
did you struggle with that though? Just now.
Why do I struggle?
Why did you?
Can he bring a white girl home? Because I thought about my mama. That's why. Because I thought about what I was taught. I thought about don't bring no white girl here. You better not bring no white girl here. You better not. So whenever I hear that phrase, I automatically go back to my childhood. But I feel like having him one in the community that we're growing up in is different within itself, right? And that's our choice to be growing and to raise these kids in this community, right?
Yeah.
So that's one. You got to take accountability for where you're raising your kids. You can't expect.
Real quick, I heard recently the single most important thing you can do for your child is raise them in a great neighborhood.
I heard that as well.
Single most important
they
thing
say
you
it
can do.
has the most impact on them because when they're not with you, they're outside in the outside world.
Yeah,
And what they're
environment.
seeing in the outside world is what really is raising them and giving them their values and everything like that. So for me, I definitely not say no. Will we give them some shit as some black folks lightweight? Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. Should come home with the white boy.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I just want her to be treated the right way.
That's what it is.
You know,
and my preference. Now we talking preference. Absolutely would love for him to be with a black woman. My preference, right? But this ain't about my life.
Yeah. No,
it ain't about my
that's
life.
fair. What about you?
Same. I think the same thing. I would want her to be treated right, and I'd want my boys to just make sure they treating them right, and whoever makes you a better person and impacts you the most to help you become the best version of yourself.
Yeah, bro. You have I said this on the last episode. You have a very multicultural family.
Yeah.
Like you referenced it with your uncle and stuff like that. So no, I'm good, man. Like I got a feeling. I just got a feeling like my son's going to date black girls. I just got a feeling. Like I don't know why he's 3. I just feel like that. But I'm cool with whoever he brings home. And that's another thing too. It's like we're just more educated than our parents.
Yeah, we are.
You know what I mean? Like and we have more resources. We talked about that before. And that's so to answer the original question why I skated around this topic is because I don't want my upbringing to be viewed as who I am today. Because, diversity and equity and inclusion is on the forefront of my mind all the time. So I can't be that
guy and
you know what I'm saying, and then have biases. Right. Like I'm for everybody. Like as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do for that person.
And at the same time too, we can't act like we ain't dipped and dabbled in certain places as well. You get what I'm saying? Whether 100%. It's serious or not. You know, I can't say I haven't slept with a white woman. I have. You get what I'm saying?
Is jungle fever still a thing?
We was talking about that, and remember we was talking about this is a good point. We want to ask y'all out there. So with the title Jungle Fever, what is the jungle reference?
Yo, I'll pause you real quick. We may be dating ourselves. Like, some of our listeners may not even know what the hell that even means.
That's good research. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think jungle fever means, I think it's a derogatory term towards white women who date black men, i.e., black men are monkeys in the jungle fever. That's what I believed it to be. I don't know if that's
I never thought about it until yesterday.
When I think back to the movie Jungle Fever,
they were telling Wesley.
They were telling Wesley Snipes that
he
had
that's
jungle
what black
fever.
folks say though.
Yeah.
Black folks be like, oh, he got jungle fever. So it's I don't know because it's always
Somebody
been
go
referenced.
ahead and give us the breakdown on this. Hit us in the email.
Right, because I've only heard jungle fever reference from us, from black folks.
From black people.
Right?
Yeah.
So I've only heard, oh, that nigga got jungle fever, or she got jungle fever. She fucking with a white boy. You know what I mean? But what is the real reference?
I don't know.
The jungle, I would assume, would apply to the connotation
somebody
that we're
who's smarter than us, tell
Please.
us. Please. I have no idea.
Do y'all think we covered enough on the interracial? I think we need to ask us questions in order for us to be able to facilitate this conversation.
Because we not going. I
to
still don't think we're gonna go there. You know what I mean? Like I think we did cover more than we did the first time.
I think we did. I think there's some pretty solid points in there. No?
Yeah.
All the questions we got were answered. So go ahead, P. But I'm going to you. Matter of fact, you checked in first. No, you did.
Yeah, I did. You gonna be first?
Go ahead.
My final thought?
Give me your final thought.
Put you first when it comes to dating. Put you
Fair.
first. It's, what my man Uncle Vesta said in House Party, if people don't like you for who you are, fuck them. Fuck them, get the ball. He's putting handcuffs on, right? Like that. That's it. It's just like, do what's best for you. What makes you better? Like if she makes you better, no matter if he makes you better, you know what I'm saying? Like that's another conversation that we can go into at some other time. If our children, are we okay with our children dating the same sex?
Yo, shout out to my man Hampton of This Might Be Risky podcast. So he has a little interlude in the middle of the pod where he'll stop and be like, Prentice, I'm just asking. Would you rather
situation?
your daughter be a whore or your son be gay? You don't have to answer it, but that was the question he asked.
My son to be gay.
Hell yeah, my son to be gay. What
Everybody
you
else
talking
was
about?
like, I'd rather my daughter be a whore.
That's crazy.
Wild.
I'm telling you, and I didn't answer. I'm glad he didn't put me on the spot, but like that was the question. The answer was, I'd rather my daughter be a whore.
Hell no.
That's great.
no.
That man, that says so much about your insecurities as I don't know if it was a man or woman, like a person. Like Jesus Christ, like you rather your daughter be objectified, potentially harmed, like never, like compared to your son
being happy.
being himself.
Yeah, being who they are.
Being himself.
I'm just telling you.
Like
what it
that's
was, fam.
wild. That's wild. Like nah, I would never.
Nevertheless, we keep the party
So, yeah,
going.
yeah, so-
Shout out to the This Might Be Risky podcast.
Yeah, be true to yourself. Whoever makes you happy. Like just be true to yourself. Put yourself first.
P.
I would have to. I really have to piggyback off that. It do right, live right, love hard and correctly. Make sure that you are being loved.
I'm writing that down because we always say that's another episode, but I definitely want to have the love.
You know this
hard,
being recorded, right?
the love hard episode. Yeah, but
Yeah,
we don't never write it down and go back to it though. So remember we got how many episodes we been? Yeah, that's a whole other episode and we never went back to
We
it.
need to go back to it.
Yeah, so
right.
I'm writing this down so we can do it. But I'm gonna go ahead and I don't even know what it's called when you do it the third time, but I feel the same way. Like, be true to yourself, love who you want to love, and really take into consideration who makes you a better person. And that's at the end of the day, that's it. So, with that being said, that was Interracial Dating by All Black Men Need Therapy.
Part 2.
Part 2 or 1.5.
Yeah, one
or one.
Yeah, 1.46.
Right. So, however y'all want to look at it. We got a new voice line, y'all. 860-410-6160. Shoot us a text message if you want to have a conversation with us. Call us up. We can have a conversation with you. Hit us up in the email, allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com. We also have a new website, www.abmnt, acronym for All Black Men Need Therapy, for those of you who ain't too quick on your feet, abmnt.com. And some cool stuff on there. We had our first in-person All Black Men Need Therapy speaking engagement. So if you'd like us to come to your spot, hit us up and we can make things happen, sign the contract, get it over. You dig?
Merch dropping.
Merch dropping.
Ooh, very
merch
soon.
coming soon. Some
Y'all
cool
gonna
stuff.
love the merch.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. We are up about almost 100 followers.
Yeah,
We're up
so-
about almost 100 followers subscribers. We're up well over 100 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, since our last run. So,
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys.
And we appreciate all y'all for supporting, sharing, what we've been doing lately, man. It means a lot, and it's dope to get you guys feedback. So please continue to respond, continue to write with opinions, whether they're negative or positive. We would like to hear your thoughts. So
100%.
keep
We're
tapping
doing,
in.
we're doing a lot better at not addressing them negative opinions either. We take into consideration, but we ain't really, exploding
But
anymore.
we want to hear them.
Word.
I don't. Fuck y'all.
Jesus Christ.
Yo, per usual,
Negative opinion.
Hug a Black Man today
Do it.
and tomorrow.
Do that shit.
We out.
Peace.